The September 11th terrorist attacks not only transformed the lives of ordinary Americans, but also changed the way the nation's largest police force does business. An Associated Press investigation has found that today the NYPD operates far outside the norm of traditional investigation practices. Keeping an undercover presence in ethnic neighborhoods, a practice the department calls ethnic mapping, is the norm. So is operating outside New York's 5 boroughs.
At the end of the day, it is pure and simple a rogue domestic surveillance operation. And that's a matter of serious concern to us.
And their tactics aren't confined by traditional borders. At this New Brunswick, New Jersey apartment, an alarming scene was found inside Unit 1076, terrorist literature strewn about, and a wealth of computer and surveillance equipment. But this wasn't the command center of a terrorist cell. The materials belonged to a secret team of NYPD intelligence officers, a unit operating miles outside its jurisdiction. Prior to 9/11, the NYPD's intelligence unit was considered a glorified chauffeur service for diplomats. Today, it is one of the nation's most aggressive domestic spy organizations. Police are targeting ethnic neighborhoods in ways that would be prohibited by the federal government.
They have informants that go in and out of mosques. They're called mosque crawlers. They have undercover NYPD officers who just troll ethnic neighborhoods. They're called rakers. They're just mapping the human terrain of the city. Their job is just to look for hot spots, what's going on in the cafes, the bars, the clubs, the bookstores of ethnic neighborhoods inside New York City.
The NYPD denies it trolls ethnic neighborhoods. It says it only follows leads. This transformation has come thanks to an unprecedented relationship with the CIA. Larry Sanchez, a veteran CIA officer, helped create the NYPD's intelligence programs while still on the agency's payroll. And just last month, another senior CIA officer began working undercover inside the NYPD. The partnership has blurred the bright line between foreign and domestic intelligence gathering.
In the 9 months or so prior to the Republican National Convention in 2004, the NYPD sent undercover officers across the country, and in some instances to other countries, to spy on political groups that were planning to come to the convention. That was done without the knowledge of the FBI. That was done without the knowledge of other law enforcement agencies in the communities where the NYPD went. And that was all as part of a program to spy on protesters in anticipation of the convention.
Investigative tactics like placing undercover officers inside ethnic neighborhoods without any evidence of wrongdoing call into question whether racial profiling guidelines and individual civil rights have been violated.
It's not a question of profiling. It's a question of going where the problem could arise. And thank God we have the capability. We have the language capability and the ethnic officers. I mean, that's our hidden weapon. The fact that we have officers from so many different countries who are now New Yorkers, and they want to keep New York safe.
Police Commissioner Ray Kelly says those exact intelligence gathering methods have already helped toward an attack.
We had 2 individuals who planned to bomb the Herald Square subway station. We used an undercover police officer born in Bangladesh, came here when he was 7 years of age, did an outstanding job in that case. And it's important to remember that this case came to a head 1 week before the beginning of the Republican National Convention, which was literally 2 blocks away in Madison Square Garden.
To enable these types of tactics, rules on intelligence gathering on the books since the 1980s were modified. Those rules said police could investigate political groups only after receiving specific information of criminal activity. David Cohen, a former CIA official who now heads the NYPD's intelligence division, argued that abiding by those guidelines would make it impossible not only for the NYPD to detect terrorist plots, but for the FBI as well. A federal judge agreed, saying the old guidelines addressed different perils in a different time. The NYPD has quickly become a major player in the intelligence community, and though the CIA is prohibited from collecting intelligence domestically, the operations underway in the wake of the 9/11 attacks show that wall has become more porous. Warren Levinson, Associated Press, New York.